So how did the screening go last night?
Oh, yeah, the premiere of Status Pending in Redwood City last night was fantastic. I mean, to be able to see our film for the first time in front of an audience is great. I have like 4 or 5 laugh out loud moments in the movie when I'm watching it. I have seen it well over 1,000 times making it. So, it's a dramedy, and I try not to sell the comedy too much. But last night with the crowd there, about 80 people, I stopped laughing when I heard 60 out loud laughs from the crowd. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Did you get some good Q&A questions?
I got some great Q&A questions. Yeah, I'm one of these people who refuses to write his own Q&A questions because I might as well just not even have them asked.
This film, you act in probably every scene, I'm guessing,
Almost.
and directed as well. So talk about that challenge and how unique that was for you, and how did you manage that?
Now, I've been editing this for like a year and a half, so I don't remember exactly, but I might shoot myself later. But from what I recall, it wasn't a challenge to direct and act at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, yes, it would be nicer to know the exact framing, because sometimes I would do a great scene and I thought, oh, actually the framing's a little off. We have to redo the whole thing. So there were moments like that, but for the most part, it actually wasn't that hard. I mean, I've got this weird thing in my brain where I feel like I'm fairly objective about my performance, and either on set or in post, I can say, "Wow, that was really terrible. I'm ashamed to be a person," and then I can go ahead and say, "Oh, okay, that was really good." Never if I'm like, "That was brilliant," and I don't start crying at the my performance or anything. Other people might. Oh, I don't know. But yes,
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully, yeah. There were a lot of people crying last night, and I don't know if it was my performance or Ivana's performance, but anyway, or the story. So yeah, it actually wasn't that bad. I look at acting as a tool, like lighting, like sound. I mean, it's just something that I know how to do, so I'll just do it if it's appropriate.
Sure.
And this character, I felt it was appropriate for someone like me to play, but someone else could have done it.
Did you have reservations in the beginning? Did you think to yourself, maybe I should cast another actor to do this, or were you really always set that you were going to play the part?
I was always set that I was going to play the part because it was just the most efficient thing to do. It was one less person to call, one less person to pay, one less person to worry about their wardrobe because the wardrobe was in my closet. I was set on it because I wanted to have the least amount of people involved in this.
Sure.
And then if we are able to sell it, then then the money comes back faster to people, the fewer the people that are on it. And you want to do that within reason. So yeah, I think I always knew I'd play the role.
With a improv movie, a largely improv movie, and a movie that had a construct for a script, did you spend a lot of time with pre-production? Was that something? I mean, obviously the rehearsal process is part of the pre-production, but did you have a lot of prep with that, or is that basically you did the improv movie, so you didn't have to do a lot of prep? And do you feel like maybe you should have done more prep?
I would hope that every filmmaker feels like they should have done more prep, and I am definitely one of those filmmakers that should have done more prep. But the whole purpose of this film was to get one done, and so we set a time. Like I set a time to shoot this, the beginning of March, before I had a producer. I said, I'm making this film, and that's that. It might not have gotten done had I not had that attitude. Maybe other people felt desperate to help me because they knew it was going to be a complete failure, if I didn't prepare. So it would have been nice to do a little bit more preparation, but we were shooting in a single location. We did have the costumes, and so things did go fairly smoothly in some ways, but other ways, props and art department, we could have had more time, and that would be more money, though, and asking other people to be involved. But we did do about 15 or more rehearsals of just getting the actor and I to look like we were in a real relationship. So we would go out on the street and pretend that we were really out together as a couple. There's a guy that plays Jono in the movie that we cut from the movie, so we actually only see him in text. But that guy also would rehearse with us. So when we would mention his name is Jono in the film. His real name is Jason Tolley. We would have Jason in mind when we were saying Jono, and you can just kind of see that in our eyes that we believe in Jono. We really wanted it to be real for both of us.
I love you.
Get in shape. Learn an instrument. Open a bakery. Sexual exploration. I think the last 6 months have been just beyond amazing. I don't know where I'm gonna be in 3 weeks.
If you take that trip, well, this could be our last day together.
I'm looking at these photos of people being so happy, living everything that they probably wanted and more, and I don't have that, you know?
Come on, Dad. I'm really establishing myself out here in the tech world.
You're not even on Instagram. Everybody's on Instagram except you.
Talk about the role that social media plays in this film, because it's very unique and very different, and you have an interaction format with this, and that's kind of a new thing that's being introduced into films, right? And so talk about how you approached that, and was that the construct of the story from the beginning?
The fact that this is a transmedia film, meaning that it's across just the medium of the screen, it's also, you can also tweet to the characters, you can post, look at their Instagram posts, you can chat with them on Facebook. I mean, they have real profiles. Is that we needed to have these profiles for the movie, for the screen close-ups. I didn't want, for some reason, I didn't want to do it in VFX and just fake it. I wanted to have it real. So those people that are commenting on the screenshots in the movie, those are real people that we just said, hey, Lizzie's about to make a post, comment whatever you want. And they would comment, and then I would just go get a shot of it, you know? And it would get like 14 interactions in 2 minutes. So that was really the nexus of it. And then from there, I know that it might be good for marketing, for people to be able to actually interact with these characters, and fun to do. Yeah, but it's keeping up just with regular statuspendingmovie.com and Status Pending Movie on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter is a lot of work.
Right.
So to add all those elements for each individual character in the film is even more work. And truth be told, we don't always tell Lizzie and Ryan to get on social media and start interacting with people. They're fictional characters, so it's kind of hard to get their attention anyway. But we're doing what we can. Yeah.
So talk about the meaning behind social media in this film too, and the idea of it, and that you are telling a social story about, you know, how this kind of rules our lives in a certain aspect, and talk about how you view that as a filmmaker. Are you happy that it exists? Are you a little not annoyed, but maybe a little bit busier now because of what you just mentioned that you were, because you're doing all the characters? But you know, has it been a helpful tool to you, and do you think that there are constraints that still need to be provided with it?
Wow. So that's a packed question. Social media, I wouldn't have my romantic relationship right now were for not for social media. As much as I want to critique social media, you know, I don't know if I would have learned about New Zealand as easily as I did were it not for Facebook. Ironically, my partner is someone that was in the hometown that I used to live in, you know, the last place I lived in. So maybe if I had gotten off my computer more and just went out to the street, I would have met her, you know? So there's that. The film is largely a critique of the fact that because everyone presents their best selves on social media, we are having these unrealistic expectations of ourselves, of our relationships, and that's something that I want people to wake up to a little bit. I think maybe this could be actually an era of, okay, everyone's perfect on social media, and later on people will be more real, or maybe later on people will know that that's just all for show, and realize not to internalize it so much. But I do feel like a lot of people go crazy to the point where they just don't do much for themselves because they feel like they can't compete, and they can't compete with perfection. And some people really might just be perfect, and we just don't.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah, highly unlikely. Either way, we don't need to barrage ourselves with all the images every day that they've got going on. Yeah.
It's very cool. Now, I think you are the perfect person to ask this question, and I've been excited to ask you this question for 2 days now. And that is, what do you love about being an indie filmmaker?
This era of being an indie filmmaker allows you to be truly independent. I mean, I could, if I wanted to, make a film with my own gear, playing all the characters or having one character or something like that, or making all the characters social media photos that I steal online or something like that. This is the most independent time to be an indie filmmaker, which is interesting because indie means individual, obviously, and filmmaking is considered a collaborative art.
Right.
It's strange, and you want to collaborate with as many people as you can, but I think indie means ultimately independent from studio influence. And so I think it's a great time to be an indie filmmaker and a terrible time to be entering festivals because their competition is so big out there. I'm not saying like better than yours. I'm talking about like quantity, like competition to accidentally get yours seen when you enter it into a film festival, many of which don't actually watch your entries, is a numbers game and a political game, and it's scary. I mean, the fact that we got into Cinequest says something about our quality. And nothing else. I mean, it says a lot of luck. It says luck all over the place.
Yeah, sure.
We happened to fit well against this other film that they were going to take, and they were going to take this other film earlier maybe, and we were too close to theirs, and then they cut that film, and so now we're allowed to be in. I don't know. They haven't told me the politics, but I know those politics are going on. So I feel lucky, not only emotionally, but objectively. I know we are lucky to be in this film festival. Yeah.
Very nice. Now, as artists, we look at ourselves up on the big screen. We see the things that, oh, well, maybe we should have been a little tighter here, cut this a little quicker, or maybe I should have redone that line or whatever. But I want to know from you, what did you think you nailed?
My secret agenda in this film and in every film is to convey messages about the environment and ways to change it, because that's what we have to do right now.
Right.
If people wanted to watch films about the environment, I would be making more of those. But they don't. They want to watch romantic comedies. They want to escape at the end of the day because they know that things are kind of crumbling around them. And why would they want to watch a movie about things crumbling?
Thanks, Al Gore.
Yeah, exactly, right? Right. They don't want to go to bed crying.
Or be bored to tears.
Or be bored to tears, yeah. So, oh, God, just another thing about how we're all going to be dead in 15 years. Oh, I knew that already. So I want to sneak these kind of messages in. And one thing I hope that I nailed is being able to insert that into a story that's not really about that at all, and get that in. Because even though there's a character at one point that basically flips out about peak oil, about climate change, about phosphorus depletion, soil depletion, water depletion, population overload, nobody comes up to me and says that was crazy or that was out of place or why, but it fits within the story. And so I think kind of getting some of these crazy ideas, that about civilization collapse into the mainstream, I think is something that I hope we nailed here.